Hello, I'm Tina White with the Asheville View, and I am here with two leaders in our local community to talk about an exciting series, Equity in Creative Placemaking. It's part of a long-standing Buzz Breakfast series. And I have with me today Katie Cornell, who is the Executive Director of the Asheville Area Arts Council and the Chair of the city's Public Arts and Cultural Commission. Katie's passion is bringing people together through the arts. Hello, Katie.
Hello, Tina.
And I have also Ed Manning. Ed is the Executive Director of Leadership Asheville. Ed seeks to apply 20 years of leadership development experience to develop our community by building our leadership capacity. Ed, how are you?
I'm well, Tina. Thanks. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So I'm really excited to hear about this series. Before we get to that, can you just tell us a bit, what is a Buzz Breakfast?
I'd love to. The Buzz Breakfast, I think, was started a little over 10 years ago by my predecessor at Leadership Asheville, both as a fundraising event for Leadership Asheville, but really to bring the community together around topics that are buzzing in our community. That's why they called it the Buzz Breakfast. And of course, that stuck. We've been doing it now for quite some time. Looking really at the challenges and the opportunities we have. One of the roles I see for Leadership Asheville is that we are a convener of the community. We bring the community at all different levels together to have conversations, some that are difficult and tough, and others that are fun and exciting. This one I think is both fun, exciting, and difficult and tough. I'm looking very much forward to it.
So Katie, this series, it's titled Equity in Creative Placemaking, which is a mouthful. What is that in layman's terms?
So creative placemaking is a movement that has been in place for several years now, and it's really involving people that live, work, and play in an area in the design process. And in the last few years, there's been a move towards adding more equity into that. So equitable creative placemaking. Making sure that it's sometimes public art can be thought of as a tool for gentrification. And this is kind of rectifying that and making sure that it is inclusive and speaks to an entire community.
We've got a lot going on in the country. Why is this so important right now?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand, there's big conversations happening around right now, or particularly around Confederate monuments. And a lot of people don't think of that as an arts issue, but it very much is, because many local governments consider Confederate monuments to be part of their public art collection. In fact, the Confederate monuments in Asheville are part of the city of Asheville's public art collection. So this, on a national level, is a big conversation. What goes into selecting monuments and public art? How should these kind of things be selected? And questions around temporary versus permanent, and that kind of thing. So that's why this would be an important conversation right now.
So you've got 4 Buzz Breakfasts planned. What will they be covering?
We're going to start the first one with Mitch Landrieu, the former mayor of New Orleans. He was very instrumental in removing the Confederate monuments in and around the city. And to Katie's point, how monuments have been used, particularly in the South, is really interesting. He's written a book based on that a lot of the Confederate monuments were put up decades, if not centuries, after the Civil War, not because people thought these were great ideas, but really to change the myth and story around the Civil War and what it was about. And so looking at it now and what those symbolize and mean, I think is really important. And of course, the city of Asheville is going through that right now in terms of the Vance Monument. So really ties in, I think, with the conversation that we're having. So we want to look at the national level, what's happened before. And Katie will tell you about the second and the third one.
So the Vance Monument discussion is really top of mind in our community right now. So we're starting with that conversation. But then in February, with Paul Farber from Monument Lab, we move into a larger discussion about the selection of public art and monuments overall. What should be considered? What voices should be heard? that piece. And then in March, we're going to extend the conversation even further to equitable creative placemaking with Dr. Maria Jackson from Arizona State University. She's really the national leader in conversations around equitable creative placemaking, and to a larger extent, the role of the arts in community health. So this is all teeing us up for a conversation in April around our own local art, public art program, and what we should be considering as our public art master plan for the city of Asheville is 20 years old. It's time to redo it. So, what should that plan look like? Also, our community will be talking a lot about reparations in the coming months, and we want to make sure that cultural institutions and the role of arts is not left out of that discussion as well.
So the series is kind of culminating in a local panel in the last event. Who's on that panel?
Well, Katie will be on it. Katie's going to be on it as the executive director for the Asheville Area Arts Council. We'll also have Stephanie Monsendahl from the city, developer and really in charge of the city's public art program. We'll also have Cortina Caldwell from the Audi Project and Sekou Coleman, both artists in our community and folks who have been dealing with minority artists in our community. And I think it's really important that we have that voice at the table.
Give me a little more flesh about what these events will be like. Who do you envision coming? What would they hope to accomplish? Will there be interaction? Are they just listening?
Thank you. That's a great, I would love to tell you about it. In the past, the buzz has been a breakfast. So 8:30 in the morning, kind of a networking, get to see folks you haven't seen in a while. And I don't know about you, but I think most people are missing that connection piece. The Zoom works, but not quite in the same way. We're going to use a new technology called Remo that really is a virtual conference room. And so people will come in much like they would into a conference room, and they'll be at a table, but you can get up and move yourself around to other tables and talk to different people in the room. And so we'll have 30 minutes or so of people just kind of buzzing around and networking with each other, talking to friends, seeing people they haven't seen in a while in these small table groups. And then we'll go to presentation mode where it'll look much more like a webinar, and you'll have the keynote speakers and folks on stage who will present, and we'll do Q&A. So we do want the audience involved, and there's a way they can enter questions and upvote the questions they think are most important. And we've got Dr. Darren Waters and Aisha Adams, who are going to moderate the series for us. So they'll be using those questions and some of their own to query the speakers and the experts that we have coming in. And then when the process is over, we'll go back into conversation mode so people can go back to tables and once again connect and see people that they haven't seen in a while. So we hope it's going to be a whole lot more interactive than a typical Zoom. That's what we're looking for and we're excited about.
So another reason to attend is if you just want to experience a whole new technology for
right.
building a community. That's wonderful. Katie, what do you hope happens as a result of this series? I know you're passionate about it.
So what we're hoping is this will kick off a new public art master plan process. So working closely with the Public Art and Cultural Commission, we would love to see this master plan extended to include the county as well. So not just being focused in the city. And, there's been requests for many years for there to be a cultural plan. Really expanding the public art master plan to be more of a cultural plan as well is the key there. So hopefully this process launches that.
Is there, just to close out, is there a deadline for registering? Is there a cost to register?
It is free and open to the public, thanks to the sponsors who have helped support us and put it on. So no cost. Easiest way is to go to leadershipasheville.unca.edu. And there's a link there to register for any one of the 4 that are coming up. So yes, please register. We'd like to have you registered by Tuesday noon, so we have an idea of how many people are coming. There is a limit. We can only take 500 people, so it's the first 500 that sign up. And we are trying to make it more broad and regional. So instead of just being Asheville-centric, to spread this out, because it's a conversation that's happening in many communities.
Great. And I encourage everyone to show up for this. These are incredible breakfasts. I love these, Ed. Thank you for keeping this going during COVID.
Thank you.
And thank you both for being here today. I look forward to seeing you at the event.
Thanks,
Thank
Tina.
you so much, Tina.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.